What is going on, everybody? It's RDV back here again on Thursday night. After the poll, pretty much after I got my comic books, show them off. Got about 10 books tonight, plus a magazine. Right now, Brain is busy right now, so I'm flying solo. So if you haven't already done so, please click like, subscribe if you want more content like this. Or if I just want to tune in, we do our readings on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. We do readings in here, comic book readings. Wednesday night, we do manga readings. So, all right. So I'm going to start out with a book. It came out last week or the week before. I think so. So it's called White Sky. Let me show myself here. So White Sky was a new hot book that came out 2 weeks ago, and it kind of blew up in sales at price and value. Wasn't sure what it was. It was sold out by the time I got it. But according to the description they have on the back of the book here, this is your image, says 5 years after the sky turned white and the world was destroyed by ghosts, a teenager named Violet and her father travel across a savage, haunted landscape, searching for safety. So this is $3.99. It's the second printing. It starts off with Violet and her father pretty much just going across like a United States. It's been just basically apocalyptic version. You can see like the boats here and all this stuff. It kind of reminds you of Last of Us and a little bit of The Walking Dead, a little bit. So for the most part, I'm liking it. The art's pretty good. And shows them first. We don't walk in the rain and there's snow, and then the dad's like, stop, something's coming. So they quickly go hide behind this car, and you're like, you don't really see what's going on at first until and obviously, like, basically whatever it was went by. And okay, I'm like, okay, kind of reading this, and they make a way to like some kind of like little basically building, and they hold away in there for the night, and they talk about everything that's going on, but also the daughter starts to get a little bit, a little bit depressed, and she misses her mom, and she kind of wants to go back, and dad's like, well, there's nothing to go back to, honey. And they look, and she talks about how it's like, I can't remember mom's, her voice and stuff. And he says, like, and she's like, what if we lose this picture? He's like, well, here's the thing. You always remember how much she loved you, and you always have that feeling with you. So they go to bed, they wake up, or at least in the middle of the night. The dad hears something, he goes outside and they investigates. And I'm thinking like, oh, they gotta kill off the father right away in this. I'm like, oh, please don't do that. But in their bag, I noticed that she has salt in there. So I guess it's gonna be. I read this before actually looking at the back. So this is a supernatural story. Those who watch the show Supernatural, they always use circle or salt, and they put it in a circle so that the ghost can't get them. But it turns out they're being jumped by other survivors, and he ends up killing one of them. And the guy shoots him in the leg, and while they're doing that, the ghosts start appearing, and they're like these demon-looking kind of reaper things come out of the ground, flames, everything. She correctly runs inside the building, and they're surrounding her pretty much towards this. So, and she ends up putting her, basically, like I said, putting a circle solid around her, and she's kind of like just totally fucked at this point because she can't leave that circle ever. They come in, and they're pretty much like, it's just like a nightmare thing. You're like, all she's got is a gun and salt, a circle around her. And, the dad's kind of like, oh, shit, man. It's like, he wants to go back to his daughter to help her. And it kind of ends like with this right here. She's like, got a gun in her mouth, ready to kill herself. And she just wants them to leave her alone. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of floored by this. This is kind of weird. Hello, Ed. What's going on? Yeah, so it says that the author, Bill Harms, he says like basically, there are hints of Last of Us and The Road in our story. And it was The Reapers Are the Angels by Alden Bell, also known as Joshua Gaylord, that helped point me in the right direction. It's just an amazing book. You all should read it. So honestly, it looks like she's going to be separated from her father. I don't know if she's going to get back in with her father or not, but it's going to be Violet on her own right now, and I don't know how she's going to survive with the ghosts basically outside, and she's just surrounded, by them. Maybe they'll just casually go away. What's up, Addison? I'm reviewing comic books. What's going on? So, yeah, new book, White Sky. This is the second printing. I think the first issue is still going for up there like near $80. Which is crazy because it originally was a $3 or $4 book, and this just became so popular. I guess some people are thinking this is gonna be the next Walking Dead. I'm not sure, but I thought it was okay so far. Let's see how long it goes. I admit I passed up on Walking Dead when I first came out the book because I didn't like the black and white art. I thought it looked dumb. I was like, why is this in black and white? This is comic books. We're past the black and white. We can go do like color and stuff. So. Yeah, the art's really good in the years, and I said it's a very good story so far. I've never read anything by this writer. And I said the artist is pretty much we got William Harms as the writer, JP Mavinga is the artist, and Lee Loveridge doing the color and art, and then Ed Dukeshire doing the lettering. But yeah, basically it just takes place in like San Francisco or California, kind of run around there. And it's 5 years after the apocalypse. All these like demon like ghosts that basically burn people, and they can manipulate the weather. So actually, it looks pretty cool. Would I want this to turn into a TV show like The Walking Dead? No, because The Walking Dead show pretty much lost the point of the book and just went their own weird direction. But who knows? Maybe we'll get turned into one. Maybe it'll be on AMC, or maybe it'll be on Amazon. But yeah, that was only $4 for the reprint. Speaking of Walking Dead, all this week, this month, we have Invincible variant crossovers for the covers. This is the Walking Dead Deluxe, which is basically a reprinting of the original run series in color. Just been enjoying rereading again, and just having it in color time or color this time around. So. If you've never read The Walking Dead and then you only seen the show and you don't like the show, the book is way better than the actual show. The show changed characters, made Maggie this badass when in reality she was just a bitch. Carol kills herself in the very beginning. Carol is not nowhere in the book much later at all. Michonne is not that prominent. Andrea, if you believe it, those watch the show, Andrew's the one that is the badass. She's the one that knows how to shoot. She's the one that basically ends up being with Rick. And there's no Daryl Dixon. Negan is actually a lot more. I like Negan. I think Negan's probably the only character that went for the comic book and actually stayed somewhat similar to what he was. Now he dropped a lot of the language, which kind of sucks, because but overall. Very good comic book. And right now they're on the Whispers section of this. This is issue 133. I think there's only like 193 or 95 issues. So yeah, fantastic book. This is the variant cover with like I said, with Rick and Michonne and Negan on here against the robots or cyborgs from Invincible. Cartoon or comic book. The original cover in the back here, which I learned. So, and this is only $4. All right. I did mention a magazine that I'm picking up, Vampiress Carmella. This is basically a Warrant magazine. Sorry, my camera's going a little weird now. Sucks. So Vampiress Carmella is basically, for those who've heard of Vampirella started in a Warren magazine back in the day, in Warrant. So Warren is pretty much going back to that style having a vampire named Carmilla hosting different horror stories. Now, these are all in black and white. And it said this is not for kids. This is an adult story stuff. Not saying it's full of porn, but I'm just saying that there will be nudity, there will be gore, there'll be kind of disturbing images that children should not be looking at. But basically, back in the day, if you didn't know this about comic books had a comic book code, and when it came to certain things, they were not allowed to do adult or language or blood or gore or nudity. And so they got around it by doing in the magazines, Marvel premieres and all stuff. That's creepy. So yeah, a lot of great art in these magazine issues. It's just issue number 32. If you want to get back issues, there is a way to go there. You have to go to VampireListCarmella.com. These are all the covers so far since it's come out. Oh, I like that. So you can just go back, and they do allow you to go back and order them. Now these are let's see, these are only $7 for the magazines, which is really cool. So you're not paying $10 or $12 for magazine stuff like you normally would if you went to like Barnes and Noble or wherever they sell magazines. But yeah, I love the fact that this, even though I do like black and white, but like I said, it has to be like good art, and this is fantastic art. I'd say more even so than what you see in the normal comic books today. So yeah, fantastic issues. All right, on to my number 10 of the week. Number 10 of the week is DC went next level. That's their new story event they're doing, adding in 3 new books titles to their lineup. The first one I'm reviewing at the bottom of the pile here, pretty much, because this is I'm going from least favorite to favorite, is Batwoman, unfortunately, by Greg Rucka and Danny. I was hoping to like this story, but like I said, the story is okay. But what really really made me not like this book is the art. The art in this book is awful. Some people are like, "Oh, this is okay. Like, I like this art." I'm like, I don't like the faces. The art, it's just, it could be a lot better. Now you get this 2-page spread here for Batwoman here, opening title sequence, and this is Greg Rucka writing pretty much. He's adding in Bible references and lots like this here too. And this there, it's kind of like good versus evil, devil versus God, and just like, I don't want religion in my comic books. I'm not saying I'm anti-Christian or anything like that. It's just that a lot of people put it in there but don't understand what they're actually doing. The reference stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I want to talk about God and Satan, but I've never read the Bible. So they just go off what they maybe have seen on TV or media. Rucka is a good writer, but I said this kind of felt like a chore to read. Not that the art was just kind of horrendous for me. I just not a fan of it. Now you can say like, well, this is always what the art's kind of looked like. Yeah, but I believe that the art can always get better if you get a different artist. But I do like Batwoman as a character. I do recommend, if you want to read good Batwoman stuff, titles as far as issues, go back to the original stuff came out. I think it was right around just before New 52, or was she? I can't remember if she was after. I think she was New 52 or after that. But yeah. So Greg, let's go back and read those. They do have collections you can get there, but yeah, I'd say pass on this. This wasn't next level. This was just kind of like meh level at the point. And this was $4. All right. Number 9. We're going over to Dynamite. Vampirella. Armageddon issue number 9 through Dynamite. This is cover A. This is $5. Vampirella is in hell. And she pretty much is... Hey, bro, why do you show some nudity? There are kids on here. There should not be kids in here because my streams are marked not for kids. And if you're... Yes, so too bad. And anyway, going on here, so Vampirella here pretty much she's been trapped in hell, and her evil side has been separated from her body. So now is she have a good Vampirella and an evil Vampirella. We have classic villains like Hemorrhage teaming up with their friends, trying to look for a Vampirella who is pretty much after the ritual. It's pretty much been weakened. We also have some of her other villains who are looking for Vampirella coming in, and they're threatened by her because they think that she's going to ruin their plans, basically to take over hell. And of course, this guy runs into the evil version of Vampirella. Yeah. And then, of course, at the end here, though, as they're looking for Vampirella, turns out her mother is the one that finds her at the very end here, Lilith, and is going to basically revive her and help her out. Meanwhile, in this book, we have, what's his name? Here. We have God, pretty much, who's having fun with this because it's in this version of this story where they have God pretty much for the first time in his life doesn't know what's going to happen. Which is kind of blasphemous if you think about it, because God's supposed to be all-seeing, all-knowing. But in this fictional story here, this version of God, is basically grown bored and he wants entertainment. So he's basically going to let things happen and see what happens. Basically, if good will win or evil will win. Take that as you want. But yeah, this was $4 or sorry, $4.99 for Vampirella Armageddon. And Tom Sinofsky has been writing Vampirella since the Harris days in the 90s. Yeah, he wrote 25 issues, and then they canceled the book, and then Vampirella ended up going over to Harris, or from Harris going to Dynamite. He came back in 2019 and decided to basically continue his story, where it left off at issue 26 and it basically continues story, and he's gone on through Vampirella Strikes and a few others. So he's been writing this, since the 90s, man. It's fun. So he's bringing back a lot of his characters. All right, number 8 is Geiger. This is Invincible variant. Like I said, is going on right now at Image all month. All Image books will have Invincible variants. So we got Geiger fighting against I forgot what his name is from. He's basically the leader of the Viltruites, the president, or but it's issue number 22. And so Geiger basically at the last issue met up with the stray kids from St. Louis. You're wondering who the kids are. If you haven't read the series, these are kids that basically are orphans, and they were basically being trafficked by these monsters. The other glowing person, the glowing Ashley Ardent, who is a glowing woman, came across them, saved them, and trained them how to kill and how to shoot. So they come across Geiger, and they're not sure if they should trust him or not. Geiger, is kind of like torn as whether he should care about these kids or not, because he's gone through it already. He's already helped kids before in Junkyard Joe in the first volume of Geiger, but he's also had his issues where he doesn't want to get involved. The guy is still mourning his wife and his two children, and he has survivor's guilt because he survived the nuclear bombs. But pretty much, as they say, him and the Northerners stay the night because at morning light, they're leaving to go to Detroit. They need to go there. And so Geiger and basically the kids, pretty much are having some bonding time. And then Geiger ends up going over into, Tariq is his name, pretty much, but he's a glowing man. Goes into they're in the mall, and he sees they left the toy section, the toys around, and we see little Junkyard Joe kind of doll there too, referencing that little Easter egg. And as he goes and looks over, he notices that, hey, wait, So they left the toy store, but they pretty much took the. I'm sorry, my camera's going acting up again. Yeah, it's gonna do this shit. Oh, I hate when a camera does this. But so basically, they took over. They destroyed the other stores. They got all the knives, the guns, stuff out of there. They're also brandishing. They're also wearing the radiation symbol on their stuff, as show respect to Ashley Arzen, who helped out. As he was exploring there, he came across one of the girls, and he's like, "Why are you carrying the book?" She's like, "Oh, one of the tables is wildly." And he's like, "Wait, you mean you don't read them?" She's like, "Why would you want to read So Northerner wakes up, hears the kids laughing. He's like, and he's like, "What's going on?" And turns out Tariq is reading them from the books. He's reading them Jack and the Beanstalk and a few other books there, and the kids are learning and they're having fun because they don't know how to read. And so Geiger pretty much was teaching the kids all night pretty much how to read. And a Northerner is kind of like, it's nice to see Tariq actually bonding with the kids because he's been so stone cold and just kind of like no emotion whatsoever. And as they go through, he wakes up, goes talk to them. And he's like, "Oh, you bond with the kids." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh," he's like, "No." He's like, "You're pretty good with these kids, And it's like, and he's like, "Yeah." And Ashley, she taught them how to kill. You taught them how to read. You're the better person, And Northern gets handed a book, The American Freedom. And if you don't know the Northerners, Northern is a time traveler who came from a world where the South won the Civil War. And he came here to the future, this far distant future, to get Geiger because he's been told by his people that he's working for that he can help save the world, correct it. And they get into the tank. They head pretty much to Detroit. And as they get out, they stop there. They notice there's a building here. And Geiger falls through the portal and ends up pretty much in the past, confronted by his family. Second chance to be with them. Crazy. So, and a preview for next month's. So Geoff Johns, Gary Frank. This is issue 22. This is, like I said, this is the Gary Frank cover D cover. This is the Invincible variant. This was, I believe, something on the cover here. $4, yeah, $3.99. Fantastic issue. All right. Then we have Moon Knight for number 7. It's Moon Knight number 2, Jed McKay, and I can't pronounce his last name, so you can look. It's Pramanik, I think his last name. Yeah. With Michelle Rosenberg. And previously, Moon Knight was in the first issue. Moon Knight was being held captive by these people, being drugged and brainwashed stuff. Zodiac comes to his rescue, gives them back his stuff. This leads to them pretty much fighting and trying to get their way out of this facility. And I love this. You get the little recap. Whenever I love most comic books, if you're going to be like a monthly issue, you need to have the story here, especially if it's a lot of people have short attention spans. They'll forget exactly what happened in the first issue, so they have to go back and read it, or you could just type it out here and tell exactly what happened, and most people will start to remember. But we have Mr. Fear and Mr. Smith. We're pretty much Mr. Fear is pretty much, I'm cutting out of here. Moon Knight's back. He's like, well, kind of ironic. Your name's Mr. Fear. He's like, well, I'll take on Batman, or not Batman, but Daredevil, Spider-Man, Captain America. But I will not take on Moon Knight. Moon Knight is crazy and relentless. So he's going to bail. And we just get this whole entire Pramanik does wall to wall, does art of just tons of fight. People getting just shit kicked out of them by Mark. And at the end of this, after now Mark's got his memories back and stuff, he goes after Zodiac, and he's pretty much gonna beat the shit out of Zodiac. Zodiac's like, it's like we're gonna. I thought you wanted to be my. The whole reason he says, why did you free me? Zodiac says the reason I freed you because Mark, I like you. And I like you when you're the brutal like this, you know. And like, and what they saw what they did to you, you know, basically is just pretty much it made me mad. Zodiac at this point is pretty much like the Joker to Batman. Um, he basically wants Moon Knight at his best, and it's revealed who Mr. Smith is, which was kind of shocking. Mr. Smith turns out to be, yeah, Bushman, which is kind of crazy because I thought he died in the earlier volumes. So I'm guessing somehow he came back because I did not read the 2000s volumes because there was a lot of retcons. But as those two are fighting, and pretty much, you know, and Zodiac decides to let off a bomb because he needs to get out of there and make his escape. Moon Knight's chasing after him, and just nonstop violence. And as Moon Knight's running, he runs into Bushman, his original, basically mortal enemy, you know, or rival. Back in the day, Bushman's the one that responsible for actually killing Mark, shooting Mark, but Mark survived by the grace of Khonshu. And we get, as I said, this fantastic art. And as Bushman's going to try and kill Mark again, over the PA, here goes Zodiac. He's like, close the door. He's like, what the hell? And it releases the fear gas. He's like, oh, no. He said, if you guys are going to fight, I want Mark to go all out. I want Mark to pretty much just slaughter you and stuff. So, and that's what is going to happen. We're going to have Mark going full-on Moon Knight or just Berserker mode. So, it's fantastic. Now, I saw this. We also got Wonder Man by Gary Duggan and Mark Buckingham coming out. I don't know. Gary Duggan's kind of a lame duck for me. He's kind of a very mid writer. Jed McKay, on the other hand, has been on Moon Knight, I want to say, since 2022 or 23. And despite the relaunches of the same book over and over again with the same writer and same artist, it's just a different title. Jed McKay has been proven by actually been one of my favorite Moon Knight writers. The other ones obviously were Doug Mensch, you know, and Chuck Dixon, but writing Mark is Jed McKay does. It's been just an enjoyable read. All right, on to number 6. We have G.I. Joe number 20. This is the Invincible variant. This is $4. We get the first meeting of pretty much Optimus Prime and Duke for the first time. So first, we started off, we had a Scrap Iron going after Tracker, and Scrap Iron Tracker is trying to get away. He's, you know, the former G.I. Joe, and just as he's about to kill him, we got Hound and Clutch come up, and with Duke. And of course, you know, they start talking. He's like, "Hey, I need you to help me fix Hound." He's like, "What do you mean?" It's like his transponder. So he's the only one who knows how to work on the Autobots. He fixes up at Hound's transponder so he can contact Optimus Prime. They can meet in a neutral, pretty much area, and we get this cool face-to-face. Now, this isn't Prime though, because for those who remember in the previous issue, Prime gave up his Matrix, so he's now just Optimus. No, which is kind of dumb. I don't like this. I feel like there's no reason for him to give up the Matrix, so they can have a winning veg over on Cybertron. And no, and of course Duke wants. You know, Duke's a little bit irritating. He's like, you know, hey, he's like, I want to know where is this this guy Starscream? And he's like, Starscream's dead. And he's like, oh shit. So then those two go sit down, have a talk, heart to heart, you know, kind of thing. And Clutch and Hound kind of make fun of him. He's like, you know, saying like, oh, is this probably what they're doing, man? They're probably just over there, like, you know, giving a speech about this. And Hound's like, yeah, and Hound's probably giving a speech about this, you know. And they're kind of laughing and bonding. Clutch and Hound are just been, I love them. They're just been the best buds. And so at the end of this, after they said basically Duke and Optimus are now on the same side, he says, "Hey, if you need help, let me know. We'll be there if you need, and vice versa." And and Optimus tells Hound, "Hey, I'm not your commander anymore, but if you want to stay at the Joes and help them with the go against the Cobra, so be it." And that's what Hound decides. And for the last minute, he's like, "Hey, Kano," he's like, "Can I hear you? You never know my leader anymore, but can you still say it?" And as he transforms, and he says, "G.I. Joe, roll out." And it kind of, yeah. Now this is where it gets interesting. For more so than that, we got Snowblind, and then we have meeting up with Snowjob. Snowjob meeting up with CoverGirl, and he says, "Hey, we need to find Scarlet, because Scarlet is pretty much wanted, because she was sent on a mission to go retrieve this weapon from this, and turns out the weapon actually was made out of energon." Says, and so CoverGirl is like, we need to go get her, whether she likes it or not, So that's the next for the Joes. We're gonna have more of Snake Eyes, and then and Scarlet possibly joining the team in the next couple of issues. Looking forward to this. All right. Then we go into Battle Beast, which is my number 5 this week. Invincible Battle Beast and the Invincible variants, which is kind of funny because it actually is an Invincible Universe thing. But we have Battle Beast skin is not his face kind of rocked, but we also have Adam Eve there, basically taking the fight to him. Then we also, I believe that's no, that's not Monster Girl, but so we left off. Battle Beast got his ass. He was going to fight this giant alien monster thing, purple creature, and he got yeeted after he got stabbed. So we have basically this droid, or basically the automated robot thing that was originally carrying this prince in here, because he was torn in half, but he doesn't need anymore. And of course, the computer, and the AI that was on the ship they were on, which is now destroyed, transferred itself over into the body. And now that the prince is pretty much the second page, you're like, "Hey, my dick's back." And he's like, "Hey, check out this. I got a juicy ass too." And I'm like, Robert Kirkman, what the hell are you doing here? I don't want him to see all this crap. And basically, it's like, he's like, I can't keep calling you computer. So is a prince says, like, "How about I call you this and stuff," or it gives it different names. And then so the robot, our computer, changes the name Zula and gives herself a face, and pretty much then the robot pretty much finds out, or the computer says, like, "Oh wait, you gave me a name based off one of your old conquests, or old booty calls." Yeah. There we see basically Battle Beast injured, and he's and next we know, we see over here the castle, which is the prince's former kingdom, and they're all hiding because whenever the big purple monster, they get damaged, they eat the little guys, and that's how she's able to regrow her limbs. So you see her here coming out, her hand's been severed and stuff. And this old guy says, "Well, no more. Fuck it. We're done serving you." So he's gonna go, "I'm gonna use all my master of wizardry against you and try to defeat you." Like, "Oh, I'm doing it." He's like, "Oh," it's like, "Yeah, boy." And it's like, and she pretty much bites his limbs off, and then says, like, "Hey, the rest of you can come out hiding. I'm not gonna eat you. This one was your sacrifice. Will do for now. Sustain me." Meanwhile, we have one of the other Viltrumites in the cell, and he notices that the prisoner is gone. And he says, like, "This is the saddest living space I've ever seen." He says, he wants to know. He's trying to find out where Conquest is. If you don't know what Conquest is, you should go check out the Invincible series. Conquest was in Invincible season number 3. They're on season 4 right now on the TV show. But yeah, so now the prince and he's got his body back and takes the now I guess female identifying android or computer. They go back to the old witch lady that helped him out originally. They give him a potion so he could regrow his limbs, and they find Battle Beast there, and Battle Beast is not in a good mood. And he's like, after Battle Beast heals up, he's like, Battle Beast, he's like kind of bored. He doesn't want to take on the creature anymore. He's like, she's on a real true challenge, And he's like, bullshit. You told me how you brought peace to your land, your before you left and stuff, and if you make you feel good for a little bit, don't you want that feeling again? And he kind of gets on Battle Beast, like getting in his face, and like, Battle Beast is like, he's like, holy shit. He's like, I don't remember you calling this being this brave, but your anger is stupid and misplaced. I'm still gonna go kill that bitch, pretty much. And it's just a shame that there isn't another one of her to be a real challenge. So as she's now got her hand back, she sees word that somebody used their space bridge landing, And turns out her brother is now back. And now the next issue, her and her brother are going to team up against Battle Beast. No. Little bro is the last person in the world still reading comic books. We all watch the animated series. Here's the thing about the animated series. It sucks compared to the actual comic books because they changed it and they censor stuff and because they want to make everything PC. That's why I read the comic books. When you have to cater to people who don't buy your comic books or anything else, just to try to get them to watch your show, that's kind of like sad. But what's also sad, you don't even have a name. Your guy's name's called User. And so if you're gonna troll, do it properly. Don't hide behind a computer. All right, number 4 for me this week is Lobo. Lobo has been actually badass. If you've never heard of Lobo before, he's a new character. It's going to be, or not a new character, but going to be introduced into the live action cinema. It's going to be in the Supergirl movie, which not really looking forward to. But honestly, Jason Momoa as Lobo could be interesting. I'm surprised he didn't get his own standalone movie, which kind of sucks. But you're Scotty Young writing Lobo. We have let's see in the name on the inside here. It says the actual interior name. Artists. I think it's it's Jose Corona. Or Jorge Corona. Who basically was the artist on Transformers a couple months before Dan Moore took over. So we got Lobo going to this in all his glory, riding a space hog, going to this tavern here. He's looking for his mark he's supposed to kill. And like a Lobo fashion, he pretty much beats the shit out of everybody. And it turns out in the bar here, they're basically watching some kind of like program satire thing or about a guy who basically pretty much is Lobo. Goes around and he's called Werebeast or something like that. And he gives one-liners and Lobo's like, what the hell? He's like, where the hell do you hear that shit? And like, he's like, what kind of mindless guppy fraggers think that a bunch of gratuitous violence mixed with the juvenile humor and a dash of outdated pop culture references is entertaining? And he's like, oh, looks like we got a few winners here, and he starts bullying the guys and just starts harassing them. So he asked one guy, hey, you would happen to know this person, he's like, and turns out Lobo here actually gives a little, in order to give a creative little story, he tells the guy his life story about how on the planet here, when he was born, he pretty much has always been a bad dude, and a lot of people are like that's not exactly what happened, but he kind of like the narrator says, he's like, yeah, but I'm spicing it up a little bit. So, and how Lobo pretty much was banished by his people. Well, we're not banished, but it's a nice little recap of his entire life. Even the time when he got turned in the miniseries, he got turned into a Lobo woman, a lady Lobo that was in Lobo's back after he gets killed. He's reincarnated as a woman. It was kind of like, ugh. And then he's like, yeah, they met this super Duke guy. This guy who wears his underwear on the outside, kind of fruity. And then he talks about, New 52. He's like, yeah, we're not gonna go over that bullshit, When they try and debate, Jay said that the real Lobo was actually not this Lobo, but the skinny guy here, handsome dude. And people are like, yeah, we're not buying that. Then he talks about how he met this warrior babe, pretty much a Wonder Woman, But he says that how he took on his whole entire planet by peeing in the water supply, and he has he says what do you say? He says he says genocide pee. He says it's like what the hell. So just as Wilbo's about to execute the guy's perp, about to execute the guy, he gets a call and saying that the hit has been canceled. No, he wants his money. So they decide he has to go back to Omni Mega Entertainment Corp, the largest media conglomerate in known existence, which we've seen before. They usually have the online space, kind of like meetings and Coliseum fights that Jeremy Adams has put in Green Lantern stories. Also, we saw it in The Flash as well. And he goes and meets with this guy, and the guy says, hey, we need pretty much Lobo, we're going to offer you your own reality show, and we'll pay you back that way, because everybody's in love with that other Wereby show, which is fake and all the stupid quips, but we're actually going to get you, and actually he's a real bounty hunter. We're going to follow you around, and we're going to make millions of dollars. And Lobo's kind of like, okay, I guess. And it's just kind of don't understand why, and we get to see Lobo kind of break loose as the security guards come in and pretty much try to subdue him, but he's not having it. Yeah. And just, a lot of cool art here. Now, some people aren't going to like this. They're going to say it's like toxic masculinity and all that stuff. And I'm going to say, like, you know what? Call it what you will. Here's the thing about comic books, just like manga. It caters to everyone. It shouldn't you shouldn't cater to only one person or one type of person who does, well, I don't like this, so no one should be able to read this type of stuff. You may call it toxic. I call it actually like this being awesome. Toxic is when you would try to cancel somebody else's opinions because you don't like them. You don't like their opinion. And you call them in names and stuff. Try to cancel them, get their jobs fired. That's toxic. Cancel culture sucks. But at the end here, we got Lobo pretty much agreeing to the deal. So this is the first issue. Scotty Young with Jorge Corona on this. This was $3.99. Part of the Next Level. Fantastic series so far. I'm not usually a big Lobo guy. My version of Lobo, which is the one from the 1997 or 1996 Superman animated TV show, had the main man on there, which was really cool. I like that. And this is kind of close to that. So I'm looking forward to him maybe crossing over with Superman, but I don't think he will in this. I'm not sure how many issues it's going to be. I hope it's not a limited series. I hope it actually does continue to be an ongoing. Alrighty then. Going into my number 3 for this week. Speaking of Batman and Superman, World's Finest by Mark Waid. Mark Russell's actually on this story, but I couldn't separate Mark Waid's writing and Mark Russell's writing. And that's disturbing me because Mark Russell is not a good writer in any sorts. I prefer Mark Waid's writing, even though Mark Waid, I don't agree with him on politics, but the one thing he does, he keeps his political biases out of the book and just tells a good story. So in this story, this is the second part of this little adventure. It began with 48. They're on Earth 3, pretty much. Superman and Batman were fighting against Brainiac, and they end up going through basically a portal, a wormhole, because Brainiac had discovered the multiverse. He basically throws them into there, and they basically end up being in Star Labs. We got Niles Calder there. Pretty says, yeah, they're good guys, but instead they should lock them up instead. And of course, we get to presents in this issue here. Superman, Superwoman, aka Lois Lane, his wife, and Owlman, aka Bruce Wayne, discovered that basically Batman and Superman on there, and Lois says they're probably counterparts. They're mostly mirror stuff. He says if they were androids, they would have attacked us by now and stuff. But so they decided to leave them there for the moment because they want to go see what else they can steal from Star Labs. On this world here, the Riddler is a good guy. In the last issue, he got tossed into a vat of acid, and he basically frees Batman and Superman and takes them his little boat and leads them out of there. As they're leaving, Superman talks about how he basically, hey, we need to go home soon. My powers are not working. The sun here is not as strong as ours, so I'm getting weaker. And we get a recap of how the Riddler, so we throw in the acid. They tell him, he's like, hey, luckily the city is very polluted. They don't care about pollution. So the acid was dumped right into the river. So he's like, I survived. And pretty much, yeah, they go into, and Batman's like, where are we? He's like, this is like, oh, this is Gotham. He's, oh, this is just completely destroyed. Yeah. And of course, Superman, or sorry, Ultraman, Owlman knows they're gone, and they're kind of pissed, And so basically, instead of Ultraman says, well, they don't leave by flight. There's no chemtrails, whatever, from them flying altered. So he decides to destroy the river. And he's like, Batman's like, or sorry, Owlman's like, why do you do that? And he is pretty much like, who gives a shit? It was a nasty river, it was contaminated. And they walk, and of course, in a lead line bunker in Gotham, we get I forgot what his name is, what the character and was talking in the front there, but we have Mad Hatter, we have Scarecrow, Banshee, and Catwoman in the back there, and I think actually Superman actually says their names. Toyman, that's what it's supposed to be. The guy with the weird hat, it's Toyman. Sorry. And they work together, and we even get Selena from this Earth actually flirting with him a little bit. The bottom there. So they decided to need a distraction in order to get back to home. So they go to Arkham, and the Toyman says his toys in there, and they drop some fear gas. That basically the Scarecrow had just perfected. There's Selena breaking out Harvey. And before they could even get any done, Owlman and basically Ultraman sew up and start attacking them. And of course, it's not going well for them. Superman, who can't just basically sit aside, even though he's weaker, flies back, saves them, and we get Superman versus Ultraman with Lois Lane, Superwoman. And just it seems that Superman's about to get the upper hand. He's stopped by Lois Lane. He says, oh, you wouldn't hit me. You wouldn't hit a pregnant woman, would you? He's like, wait, what? And it catches him off guard. And basically, just at the last second before Superman's about, Superman needs to leave because the portal's opening. Banshee lets out basically a scream, allowing them to go. They say they're fair dues, and they thank Superman and say, hey, it's like you inspired us. We'll never give up, Now they know that they actually are, it pays off to be good. And Batman and Superman get in these little space suits. They go to the portal. And then at the end, we see Swamp Thing makes himself known. And so, yeah. And then we also have World's Finest issue number 50 coming up, a big oversized issue with Mark Waid. And the return of Dan Mora. Dan Mora's return to the interior art on this. 48-page quest. We got Batminer, we got Jimmy Olsen, we got Missy Plitzek, we got Supergirl. And it looks like we're going to have there's going to be a Weird Al Yankovic cover, apparently. I don't know why, but yeah. But yeah. So that was $4, issue 49 for DC Comics. All right. Number 2 for the week. Deathstroke the Terminator #1 by Tony Fleeks, drawn by Gian Domenico. That's what it is. So we start off in there with just, like I say, this is just fantastic art in here right away. We have Ravager, Deathstroke's daughter, and Wintergreen, the personal assistant to basically to Deathstroke. And he is basically trying to like reconcile their relationship because, you know, she's Rose has tried to reach out to her father, men stuff, you know, but it's very hard and stuff. And he keeps trying to push her, you know, hey, don't give up on him. And she's like, but I can't. He's a killer. I'm a hero, you know, or at least that. So we get this nice 2-page opening spread, which I think was just fantastic. I love the detail already on this, on the art and everything. Oh, it's fantastic. And then, of course, we have the gun layout too. So Wintergreen is pretty much talking to basically to Slade, and he keeps trying to convince him, hey, you know, you should talk to your daughter, trying to make amends and stuff. You know, he's like, dude, I don't have time for this. You know, I need to stay on point. You know, he's like, you know, and of course they don't know Slade doesn't know who is. He's revealed by Wintergreen. They don't know who the buyer is, who's hired him. And Slade says he hates the freaking blind drops. I don't care about the tech and all stuff. I don't like being jerked around. And as he's going through the whole entire this issue, is him just basically talking to Wintergreen and going through and just and Wintergreen says to Slade, says, hey, this is supposed to be a quiet mission. He's like, well, fuck that. You know, they want to not tell me what my job is at first. You know, a blind buyer. I'm gonna go loud. So he basically revs the truck out of the building, crashes it down while shooting, and it just loving the art here by G. Domenico. Well, hello to Mr. Breen.
What's up?
On my book #2. So it just Slade is basically going in and just proving that once again that he is not to be fucked around with. No, he's kind of taking the kids' gloves off and reminding people who he is. Because if people think they can just jerk him around, buyers, he's like, well, they need a reminder of who I exactly am. And there's one guard at the station. He's like, he gets an alert. It's like, hey, yeah, we need a red alert. No, it's like, he's coming your way. He's like, so he tells, he's like, hey, his buddy's like, what's that? Oh, nothing. Just I'm just gonna go take a piss. He's gonna try and take out, but it's too late because before he even can leave the building, Slade's already coming up, and he's got a motorcycle strapped with bombs at the guard tower and destroys it. And of course, well, he's still talking to Wintergreen, and he's telling about, hey, it's like, this is him talking to Wintergreen, but more him, Slade saying, I'm an old man. It's like, I would love, if I could change who I am, and reconcile with Rose, but I can't, It's like, I'm too far, I'm too old, I'm too stubborn, and I like what I do pretty much at this point. And it's better that she's off nowhere near me, so not have a relationship. And as he gets into basically the building here, all of a sudden he gets hit by electricity, explosions. Turns out we got, I don't know if they're 2 new villains, but they're called body doubles. Carmen Leno and Bonnie Hoffman pretty much attacked him. Apparently, they have some super soldier serum or healing there, but he said, they have healing factors, but they don't have super strength, which pretty much they give him a nice challenge here, and he even gets his sword through his own sword through his chest. But he basically uses that rage then to go after them and just pretty much maim them. He kicks on the door because he's getting to his target. He's going to assassinate his target, only to find out and This might piss off a lot of Deathstroke fans, but he comes across Wintergreen, who's already dead in there. And he's basically been, someone says, Slade, I'm taking everything. It turns out they drained his bank account and then took all his files, everything. And not only that, the cops show up, or the guards in there, they're going to arrest him. And he's like, well, fuck this. He's like, he apologizes. He's like, I'm sorry, buddy, I'm using you as a meat shield, but you would have done the same for me back in the day, or sorry, I would have done the same for you. And of course, he finds out there's a bomb underneath the actual, his Wintergreen's body, corpse there. It blows up. And so now we have him in a standoff, and now he's basically going to seek revenge to find out who fucked him over, because he doesn't know who the buyer is. Very first issue by Tony Fleeks, first time writing Deathstroke for $4. This was actually really good. Really enjoyed the art, and it just seemed I know people praise the Deathstroke by Christopher Priest, but this is a million times better to me already. So highly praise for this book. If you've not picked up, this is the other third of the next level books come out this week. So far they're two for three. Lobo and Deathstroke are my top recommends out of the next level books. Pass on the Batwoman. The art was horrendous, and I don't need Greg Rucka quoting Bible verses to me, or at least trying to make Bible, what do you want to call those, analogies? It's just dumb. But the best book of the week, though, was a shocker to me, because I forgot about this guy who was coming back to Marvel. No, it's not Bendis. Paul Jenkins came back to the Century. And by God, this book was just fantastic. I felt like I was back in the 2000s. Now this story has no reference point in current Marvel whatsoever now. It starts off, it says, in a world of monsters, gods, and impossible heroes, the Century stands above the rest. The 9 impossible powers of levels of power, including flight, teleportation, molecular kinesis, energy manipulation, healing factor, superhuman strength, speed, agility, and senses. When assuming this hero entity, Bob Reynolds, is the most powerful entity in the universe, but also the most dangerous. With every action taken a Century, Bob risks unleashing his alter ego, the Void, an unstoppable destructive force of Bob's subconscious. The Void seeks to basically balance every act of Century's heroics with an equal act of villainy. And worse yet, he's got all the same powers at his disposal to make sure that Bob breaks even. That is, if the burden of such terrible acts doesn't break Bob first. And it turns out the Void is actually, in this series here, at the beginning of this issue, the Void is actually doing more. He's tipped the scales in his favor. So the Void is now doing more damage. Bob is pretty much hiding the fact of where he's been. And he's got his friend. Doesn't tell her about the Void and stuff, about the evil, that he knows what's going on. And then I saw this shit. This shit really pissed me off. Civil War Unmasked. Who gives a flying fuck about Civil War? We don't need to revisit that. But yeah. So basically, Century's pretty much talked about when he first, the appearance of the Void for him was back when he was like 10 or 12 years old. He was learning about the dog that was basically the Russian set up in space, and he basically wanted to. He thought how sad that was, and he wanted to go rescue the dog. But of course, the dog, well, it didn't know. He felt horrible that people would do that, put a dog up there, and the dog just basically burned to death. It's the rocket ship. So first thing does, the Void shows up while we get here. Wilson Fisk would just pretty much, brutalize the guy. Hello to Geoff. So, yeah. Basically, the Void just tells me, it's like, it's like your time is over, pretty much, and you're gonna beg, and stuff. And Fisk has no idea who he is at this point. I don't know if this takes place before Siege. I'm guessing it does, because the Avengers don't know anything about the Void yet. So I'm guessing this is a throwback. or at least in a pocket dimension. Pretty much, we get the Wilson Fisk kind of basically scared shitless the Void. You know, um, and then of course we get this nice here little speech here. Now I think Bob actually is married. I think this is what it is. It's not his fiance. It's his. And the Avengers, are lined up. It looks like we're going back to the early 2000s. That's what I think this is. This is before all that. We're ignoring Dark Avengers and all stuff, Dark Reign. I can't remember if they sort of say what her name is in this. I have to look on the actual thing. Just 1 second. Lindy. Was Lindy his wife or his
yeah.
What's that?
I think in the like during Dark Reign, I think Bullseye killed her, and they didn't tell Bob who did it to get him, riled up to fight.
Yeah, it's Lindy Reynolds. So yeah. So this is, I guess, before all that. So yeah, they're having a thing meeting, and Bob, he's basically silently beating himself up and telling himself, "You idiot!" And it's like, "You coward! Tell him what's going on." But he's also afraid if I tell them, they're going. Will they? These are my friends. Will they turn on me? And they keep hearing about these throughout the world. There's disasters happening, blackouts, there's energy spikes, cause stuff, and that's actually the Void doing this stuff. And Bob is just basically in this self-psychosis, I guess. He's just really just distraught. He's worried about his dog, and Lindy's trying to help. He's like, "Hey, where were you?" And he's like, "Oh, I was up in space." He's like, "Oh, maybe you can tell me about these people." He's like, "Oh," it's like, and he just feels so guilty throughout this whole day. It's very depressing. He also finds out that the dog, is going to die soon. He has a little clock tower or watchtower. He does in his building, and he's able to do scans. So, and of course, we see these rich people on this island here, and pretty much, it's called the South Pacific. It's called Palakulia Island. These rich people here. The Void shows up and pretty much, just slaughters them, creates this giant typhoon, and kills them all. Now, before it could get to the other islands, the Avengers show up and they basically call Bob, "Hey, we need your help here." There's just and Bob goes over and pretty helps him to save the day. And they find out later as he gets back to his place. He's listening to news reports as he's scanning his dog, for health stuff, and talks about the different things going on. And the island, goes, owned by people like the Kingpin, basically, the whole island drowns, and it's basically at this point he basically goes in the computer and has hey computer, start basically therapy sessions. Like Paul Jenkins is going super dark with this character. Right, like Sentry's always been one of those complex characters, and yeah, pretty much at the end he knows he has to come clean, or he has to go confront the Void, but he doesn't know how to. Outside, he gets a call with Avengers. They're saying they need your help here, and there are these crystal things are showing up in New York. Hulk's eyes are just glazed over by this crystal. It's driving him mad, and they all need help and stuff. And Bob, we need your help, and he basically ignores their call. He's like, you've been lying to yourself, letting the Void win. There's nothing you can do, And like Spider-Man's like, "Sentry, this is this is Spider-Man. Where the hell are you? Please respond." And he gets hit too. And it's like, and he's just basically having a self-doubt. He's like, admitted at the end. He says, "In a Sentry, even you can't save yourself." And that's kind of how it ends. It's like it's very, very dark issue, depressing. So there's a preview for issue 2. And of course, hey, look, preview for Dan Slott's book. But wait, Dan Slott's book apparently He's on the chopping blocks. He's out there begging for money, begging for people to go buy his books. But like I said, fantastic issue. That's my number one issue of the week. It was a shocker to me. I forgot this was coming out. And the fact that the only reason I got it was Paul Jenkins. This is $5, worth every penny. All right, then, Geoff, you got books?
Yes, I do. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. Got this week's and last week's in this time, so I didn't have a lot of time to read everything. But let me go over the stuff that I didn't read. Healer's Super Thick Lucky's Tales. I have no idea if this is any good or not. Green Lantern Corps number 14. I guess this is a new story arc, and I guess Guy Gardner is he got some sort of powers where he can communicate with the emotional spectrum stuff, and people are worshiping him, and he wants to get rid of them. If only he can see the avatars. See if I can show you here.
So you're enjoying that book even without Jeremy Adams being on the book for a couple issues now.
So you can see that, and he wants to get rid of it, and Jessica Cruz is saying, "Hey, we need to get a hold of him so we can get rid of stuff." And he's like, "Yes, I got to get rid of this." So it's not bad. I'm kind of on the edge as to whether or not I want to keep going on that. I like the main title better. And End of Life number 2. I loved number 1. So number 2 ought to be pretty good.
Yeah, I passed in that book because I had way too many books this week.
Yeah. Infernal Hulk number 5. It looks like there's going to be a big battle with all the Hulks.
How many Hulks are there now? 20?
No, I mean just all the different iterations of the Banner one.
Oh.
So, I guess, I don't know. It was a hot minute since I read the last one.
I need the Hulk verse. That's what I need. I need that, like this. Yeah, Dan Slott, get on that. Just give me a whole bunch of Hulks.
Shadows of Tomorrow Cyclops number 2. Last one intrigued me enough to to get this one. And another book that they haven't rebooted at Autumn, Moon Knight number 2.
Fantastic issue. Great art.
Huh?
Great art on that book and that great story.
Speaking of great art and great story, Geiger number 22.
Yeah, I picked up the first half was just boring. So I'm kind of glad that book is starting to pick up more.
Now, I know you didn't read the first one, and the first one was great. Ordained, number 2. And this reminded me of a chick I met at the bar the other night, or the last time I went anyway, which was a while ago.
Little Filipino?
There are an awful lot of those up here, and Samoans.
The Rock's family?
I guess they're all sort of related somehow. Yeah, it's them. They're all cousins and stuff. Facsimile 475. Facsimile. What number is this? 576. Little story on this. Once I found out this was coming out, I went on to eBay to see if I could get an actual copy, a real copy.
Mm-hmm.
And they had it was opening bid $9.99, and 5 days, something like that. So I said, okay, I bid like $12 or just the $10 or whatever. And it was one of those things where someone has it set up where it's it will automatically beat whatever someone puts in there.
Yeah, that's
Which
what sniping.
really pisses me off. So I just kept bidding, and it went up to about like $30-$40. So I just okay, fuck him. If he wants to play this stuff, I made him charge a huge amount, pay a huge amount just because he was being a dick. Batwoman number 1. I will not be getting Batwoman number 2.
That's nice. Said the art was bad and the story was Greg Rucka trying to do religious stuff, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, the art was the main turn off. Superman Unlimited. I don't know why I got this cover. I just happened to grab it. But
It's supposed to be Henry Steele or supposed to be?
I have no idea.
And that's that's Lana.
It was pretty good, and I really did like this issue.
Yeah, really good.
And
Dan Moore is back on issue 50,
which is next issue, right?
Yep, next issue, double page.
Yeah, so this is just a standalone, I guess.
The story was a 2-part story, 40 and 49.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. But they meant to end it by 50 because they're setting something up for starting with 50. But that's all I got.
Alrighty then. All right. Mr. Breen, do you got any books to show off? Any novels you're reading?
No, I don't.
You get rid of all your Vampires Camillas and all that stuff?
Not yet, but I will be.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, I do have. I don't know when you stopped, because I do have a few newer ones. If you wanted to read those.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Trying to offload some of mine too, but this week's was at Perezio was the artist, and I was just like, I couldn't believe this. How I love that art. And you look at that guy and just all the pulp fiction novels he did. Art was just fantastic. Dude died when he was at age 52, and in 1976 or 75. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I was like, and he did a lot of beautiful art. But yeah, I was talking about this, and I just couldn't believe, like, because I've seen some of the art, the cover on here, but I was like, this just took me away. Yeah. But yeah, the this week's art.
That it really.
Christopher Lambert. Isn't this? That's interesting. Yeah. These are actually the most affordable magazines you guys could be buying these weeks or every month or so. This is only $7, and you get at least a good 45. Okay, probably more than 45 pages. I think you get about 47, 48 pages. 50, yeah. You get 50 pages for $7. So, Henry, if you're still here, I'd say this is the book you want to be getting. The Vampires Carmelas. You like all the good creepy stuff? Yeah, this cover artist, I can't remember what his first name is, but it's Prezio. I think I want to say Will. I know I sent it to Breen. The name of the artist. Let's see here. The name is Victor Prezio. The guy did. If you look him up, just look up Victor Prezio, and that's Prezio. Well, he has just tons of this fantastic covered art he did for all these pulp fiction novels, and he also did a lot of work for Creepy too as well. So I just love this. This just reminds me of like something you'd see on Dark Shadows or something like that, or or those little creepy stuff. She's playing the piano with bloody notes, and then there's a guy in the mirror, or the painting. You can tell, but she sees them and just like it's fantastic. But that's all I have for this week, though, and that's all that Geoff had for this week. So we're probably gonna wrap it up since there's not really much else to talk about. Other than I believe I heard a couple hours ago that Chuck Norris went into the hospital today or something. An emergency. I don't know.
Medical emergency.
I don't know if he's dead or whatever. I mean, that guy, if he goes, it's going to be like heart attack. That's like I think, or stroke. I'm guessing he probably had a stroke.
Death once had a near Chuck Norris experience.
That was today.
Oh wow! Next Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith will be doing his show up here. I have a ticket for Friday night. Just found out today he will be at my local comic shop Friday afternoon. So I'm going to be taking some time. I'm going to be taking the half day Friday.
Nice.
I would have been able to get to it. I would have been able to get to his show after work, but because it went after work. But he's going to be at my comic shop while it works. I'm taking a half day, so I can go.
Yeah, Chuck Norris is 86 years old. He just had his birthday a week ago.
Damn.
March 10th. Isn't that usually how it goes? They reach their birthday, and there was another actor that was earlier this year. He reached his birthday, and then like a month later dies. Forgot who that was, but
he will count as all three though.
I never looked up to see when Marshall. I know he knows karate. Chuck Norris has always been karate stuff, but he does taekwondo, Tang Soo Do, Chun Kuk Do, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and judo. Wow, he actually does a lot. So
he knows a couple. He's everyone who knows about like martial arts and fighting stuff. All claim that he is freaking legit and one of the greatest.
But have they? I'm curious if there's any updates on Twitter. Because usually Twitter's first.
Hey,
yeah, it's up.
Here's something while you're looking.
Yeah.
I was buying a banana, an apple, and 2 eggs. The cashier said, "You must be single." I asked, "Wow, how did you know that?" Cashier, "Because you're ugly."
Yeah, we lost Richard Norton last year. Another nice martial artist guy. But apparently, sources say he's in the hospital. That it says the joke was Chuck Norris hospitalized. Sources say the hospital is expected to make a full recovery.
Did you see the new Spider-Man trailer?
Yeah, I saw it. We're back to the status quo where basically we have creepy next door neighbor, stalker, Spider-Man. But it looks like we're gonna have Man Spider. So
have you seen the post I just sent you?
No, hold on a second. I'm just looking to see if they have anything updating on here. But yeah. Oh, this Chuck Norris jokes. No, I've never seen that one, but I'm surprised. This man has no dick. Changed my mind.
I at first I assumed it was Crowd. I go, "Oh, that's Bill Murray sitting there."
Yeah,
so that's even better.
Yeah, that's the one thing though. I'm starting to go the Bill Murray route as far as the hair. It's one of the reasons I always wear a hat.
So did you see where Tony Storm is out indefinitely?
No, I didn't watch Dynamite.
Well, she's legit. So they did the old backstage attack.
I know that Ronda Rousey went after her.
Well, I'm saying she's got real world injuries.
Oh,
So she's gonna be out for months.
Here's the thing, though, is she's been like she carried that title belt, and you can tell she probably had a lot of injuries, probably, and just like what's his name had to step aside for a bit.
Well, if they were smart, they'd bring back Britt.
As well, that's the one thing I people were wondering why they brought back, and I doubt it was a locker room drama. I don't know what it is with her and Tony. Doesn't want. She said, "I can come back whenever I want." It's just that Tony doesn't want me back right now, or maybe there's not. Maybe they agreed there wasn't enough room for her right now with those storylines. They wanted to give the shine to everybody else. But yeah, Ronda Rousey showing up at the pay-per-view was kind of weird.
I know it's going to bring him some real world attention, but
yeah,
I heard she got booed.
She did. Then nobody likes her in wrestling.
Yeah, nobody likes Ronda Rousey
because she shit on WWE.
Yep.
And they bent over backwards to accommodate her. Yeah, of course, all the trolls said, "Oh no, all the sickos are going to love her now because she's there." No, you don't.
And here's the thing: she backed me. She backed her real life friend, Maria Shafir.
Yeah, no, big whoop. I'd rather see Britt Baker than
my question is: are they going to bring in Gina Carano in or something?
I don't know.
If Ronda Rousey was, I don't know if Ronda Rousey was there on Wednesday night, but she was there on the pay-per-view.
I don't think she was there. I'm sure she gets paid by the appearance, and
sure.
They didn't have anything for.
But as far as I said, apparently Ronda Rousey was making remarks about Cyborg and stuff, and
it was good. A picture of a guy holding his woman. Goes, Rachel and I are no longer dating. The reply from Rachel, Mike, that's a horrible way of telling people we're married.
I thought she was going to say, we're on break.
Yeah. That's a nice break from stupid wrestling sites and Trump derangement. Here's Simon and Mother Funkle again. That one always makes me laugh.
Right. So I did watch Landman. I thought it was actually pretty decent.
Landman?
Not Landman, sorry. The Madison.
Oh.
I'm still sick. I got sick brain right now. Madison, I watched. They basically dropped the first 3 episodes last Saturday, and then the final season, I guess, would be 6 episodes. The last 3 are dropping this Saturday. And so far, it's been actually pretty good. I just don't know. Apparently, they already filmed the 2nd season last year, and I don't know as far as how many seasons the show's going to be. I think it's been 2 seasons tops, because I can't see really them going much further after, because they're dealing with the funeral of her late husband and moving over there, and it's not connected to any other shows. I don't see it going much longer, because this feels like a Hallmark TV series. And I've seen this before with Hallmark, where we have the family, the mother, running the homestead. I forgot who was on there. I think it might be Danica McKellar, or I forget who it was. But there was they had a celebrity who was on there. Yeah. But so far it's been good. It's not bad. It's just I love seeing Kurt Russell on there. Kurt Russell's only in the flashbacks though, but yeah, the mother's pretty much kind of like Billy Bob Thornton in a sense, where she calls her daughter and the granddaughters call them little bitches for how spoiled they are, and it's kind of crass. So kind of like that, but it's not as good as Landman. But I do think it's up there with Tulsa King a little bit. On a more serious note.
Speaking of Kurt Russell, did you hear third best Hulk? What's his name?
Eric Bana.
Huh?
Oh, Ruffalo's not a Hulk.
Yeah, he went after Kurt Russell, called him a mid-tier actor. Kurt Russell just destroyed him. I thought it was pretty funny.
Ruffalo destroys himself because no one wants to have sex with him. No. Pedro Pascal's been seen around hanging out with his boyfriend. Everybody's waiting for him to come out and say he's gay. He's been spotted seeing, arm in arm with a guy. So
everyone knows he's been gay for a long time.
Well, it's just
That's just like when Kevin
everybody's
Spacey's
wait-
not gay,
ev-
everyone, like,
everybody's
suppressed
waiting
that.
for the virtue signal. But no. Is there? I'm here for the Wilmer report. I mean the weather report. Yeah, we don't have a Wilmer report anymore. We do have a Fred Flintstone report, but what's up, Jackson? I'm surprised you're not over at one of the. Is there a comic book auction going on right now, or something? Yeah, I saw that he was doing something live against me. And I was like, oh, that explains why I don't have anybody here. But yeah. Oh man. But Jackson, if you like Paul Jenkins' Sentry, you should pick this up. Go to my comic shop. It just came out this week. It's really cool, and it's set back before Siege and stuff. Back when Bob was his wife was still alive. It's actually really good. I'm not sure how many issues it's gonna be, but it's the cover artist is here. Is the interior artist. So, like I said, I had fun with it. Sentry's just been one of those books I just really enjoy. But yeah. But all right, though. I think we're gonna call it though. Time of death. It's a little bit under 130. Yeah. The only thing I read with the Sentry was in World War Hulk.
I got one more.
What's up?
When a girl seductively tells you you can stick it wherever you want, apparently in a roommate is not one of the options.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Oh, and someone has posted that the hospital is expected to make a full recovery.
Yeah. I just said that before. I was trying to look on Twitter. It's like, is there a Sears update?
No.
Oh, it's just Chuck Norris
That
jokes.
could be a joke coming on us if he dies.
That's the thing, though. If he dies, why people are going to believe it? You know?
Point, actually.
What's that?
That's a good point.
They're like, oh, Chuck Norris is dead. You know, death don't let him, or something like that. But yeah, Rob's like, he texted me earlier. He's like, and it's like, hey, if he kicks the bucket, I'm ready. I can go live tonight or tomorrow. I'm thinking like, bro, I'm busy. If Chuck Norris dies, we'll give him a eulogy on Sunday. I don't have time to stream tonight or do other streams than what I'm doing now. But auction doesn't matter. Don't need comics, new or old. Already had the best comic ever made. Old school, bro. You have a okay, Henry, what is in your collection? What do you consider to be the best book that you have? Or do you consider like if it's too hard to narrow down, do you have a specific run gets completed that you favor over everything else that you own? Yeah. Because I was asked at the people as far as like people who don't read new books, what if you have a collection? So what is your most prized book in your collection? A book that you'll never sell, no matter what. And Brian, do you have a book that you're keeping at all, or are you getting rid of all your floppies?
I'm gonna keep the Silver Surfer 4.
Is that the one with Thor?
Uh-huh.
That's the one that's on the box right here.
Yep.
Nice. How much does that actually go for?
Oh, mine isn't worth much because
But mint though, I meant
4 figures.
Wow. That's crazy.
But I got it because there was like metallic paint on the cover.
Yeah.
But I managed to get almost all of it off, so it's
Nice.
The cover's pretty much why I wanted the book because it's just my favorite cover of all time.
The computer covers of modern comics is a deal breaker. But Henry, I'm asking you, you have a collection still. What is your prize book that you own?
Other than Defenders 10.
Yeah.
I'm keeping Defenders 10 out of spite and solidarity with Henry.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. If I said I'm probably getting rid of most of my older books to make room stuff, and I'm not really gonna keep most of my new stuff. I'm just gonna, after like a year or so, just sell my books back in, just keep recycling, so I have room. I want to go down to like maybe 5 short boxes versus 30. Could be a storyline or a Fantasy 457. However, none of my books are for sale, regardless of price. I'm not trying to buy your books, bro. I'm just curious, because we're all collectors. We're our favorites, Sometimes we have multiple favorites. But if you had to like only keep one book, that's the book you grab that's in you only had access to in the fire. Everything else, was like out of distance. What would that book be? But cataloging 243 books. That's a lot of books. Well, but I have like close to 3,000. Those I'm trying to trim it down. I want to have a room back. I used to have a TV right here, but yeah, it was getting to the point where I was going to have my bed on top of my books, which I do not recommend to anybody. Do not put a mattress or anything on top of boxes. You will crush those books. Marvel 2-in-1 number 50, not worth a lot, but kick ass. Nice. If I had to choose to keep 2 books or lose 1 book, I have I think it's called Spidey Cops Out. I'm not sure which Amazing Spider-Man is, but it's when he's on the cover and he's just like this, crossing his arms up.
It's in the early 100s.
Yeah, I can't remember which one number it is, but yeah, it's got a little bit of damage on it. A little part of the red came off the arm. But other than that, it's cool. It's like that. But I also have the Marvel Tales reprint of the one with the garter beams. I think it's number 31. So
33.
33? Yeah. I don't think if I ever got the original 33, that'd be the only book I'd ever keep. But I am gonna keep my my Catwoman books, the Chuck Dixon ones, but for the most part, I'm gonna go through and just sell out of my books. Now, Jonah Hex's though, I'm torn on keeping those 2 because I just love Jonah Hex, and I don't see that ever being collected again. So I just hang on to those 2. But that's how it starts. So you're like, well, oh, I can't part with this, and then the part where I'm like this, and then I have twice this upstairs, And these are like that. This goes all from the floor to the ceiling. The box behind me. It's just, and it's like 2 row, and then I got more of the long boxes there, and I got more on the other side here. Just from the bottom all the way up. This goes. Yeah. But other than that, though, all right. Seeing the Spider-Man trailer, some cool homage cover moments. Makes Fantasy 15, makes Spider-Man 134, etc. Yeah,
homage. You don't pronounce the H in it.
Have you ever been on this channel before? I say homage. We've always said homage.
Okay.
Yeah. You want me to pronounce words correctly? Who are you? I'll never pronounce words correctly. No. But yeah, I'm done with Zendaya. I don't care about that crap. I hate Ned Leeds or whatever he's supposed to be in this character. Just annoying characters. And it looks like he's going to be having the Tobey Maguire organic webbing coming out of his wrist now. And just like, okay, is he turning into Man Spider? I can understand that, but still, it's like, if that's not the case, I just give me Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. But they're talking about they're going to have Ezekiel Kane's going to be in there. the spider god or totem god war guy. Yeah.
I just saw a thing saying that Peter David was going to be Dr. Connors.
Is that supposed to be a joke?
Not Peter David, but who's the black guy from The Thing?
Ezekiel.
No. The movie The Thing, the one with Kurt Russell, the actor.
I know Kurt Russell. That's about it. I never watched it.
Peter something.
Peter Gabriel. I don't know.
No, Peter Gabriel wasn't a black actor. He was the guy in Rowdy Pipe. They Live.
Keith David. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Peter David's dead.
Yes, I know, and he's also not a black guy either. Did I say Peter David?
You just said Peter David, and you're like Peter something. I was like, what?
Yeah. I've heard that he's supposed to be Doc Connors.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm getting fucking old.
I was gonna say you said the guy from the Cape, the black guy, or he's been in a lot of different movies where it's
not the Cape, The Thing.
I said the Cape because I never watched the damn Thing movie.
Neither did I, but I know I didn't.
But I watched the Cape. That was a good show. What's up? Is that Ned Flint's Stone smoking a cigarette? Fred Flintstone, you mean?
He's smoking something, but it's not a cigarette.
It's a Winston. Goliath with Gargoyles. He also voiced that. But that was before, I don't think you were watching Gargoyles when it came out. Sends chat into Silver Age and it shows up in Monter Age. Can you imagine the MCU? Ned Leeds turning into Hobgoblin, more like Blob Goblin. Everybody said, I heard about people are like, if we're gonna have Ned in there, can we finally get freaking Hobgoblin? We're sick of this, the fat little chubby kid. Like, can you get someone come in and actually have like he's actually in shape and actually be a villain? You know?
Didn't he lose a bunch of weight?
Well, he must have found it. Yeah. Massive delay from when I enter a message in the chat and when you see it. I actually know I'm just not looking at chat. I don't know.
You really don't want to see us with the cameras on. Trust me.
Oh yeah. Plus, these guys. Well, Geoff had his camera on here. Showed his books. We're kind of wrapping it up as it is, and Eric doesn't go on camera. He's camera shy. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should, right? Yeah, but we already Peyton. If you want to rewind, we actually sold our books. I showed mine for the first hour, and then Geek Easy jumped on and showed his books. We just got done with his about 10 minutes ago. So, we are also on live on the normal screen as well too. I do the vertical and the horizontal YouTube streams. Keith is pretty cool. I liked him in The Thing, Dead Presidents, Platoon. Was he in Platoon? Oh, I haven't seen that in a while. I keep getting
3 movies out that I didn't see any of them.
You know what the thing is? I keep getting Platoon mixed up with Casualties of War with Michael J. Fox. Okay, you can tell us a joke. Sure. It's a free country. It's a free internet so far. Until they ask for your ID.
I don't know. Can you?
We'll find out. Just waiting for the joke to show up. Why did the Mexican have a panic attack? No clue. Why did he have an attack? Later, Henry. Will we ever get the conclusion, the punchline of this joke? Or no, I said it wrong. Why did the Mexican go to the doctor? Because he had a Hispanic attack? I don't know. Is that the joke? Oh, Jackson's out too? Finally, we can talk about the real stuff now. Jackson's leaving. But, all right, though. We're going to end it right around here. You got it. It's a joke. 10 minutes later, ice kicks in your door. Oh, no. I think I say like why I'll end it on this joke, and this is where I'll get me canceled. Why did the Mexican have a panic attack? Because he had some ice cream. That's a bad joke. It's a dad joke, whatever. A horrible joke. A Geoff joke. But all right. That's it for tonight. If you liked and enjoyed our riveting content towards the end here as we wind it down, click like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We'll be back tomorrow for a comic book reading, and we'll see you guys around 9 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for jumping on, Eric, at the last minute, and Geeky, thanks for showing us some books too.
Not a problem.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Night.
I got Superman Family, DC Finest. Nice. Later, guys.
Later.